All right guys, it's late September, officially fall, and it's time for another barrel and blade super unboxing. So let's open this thing up and see what we got. What's up guys, Eric here with ATHOME in the future, and I'm back with another barrel and blade super unboxing. We're going to cover a few different flavors of their sub in the same video here. So if you're unfamiliar with barrel and blade, super cool subscription. Lots of tactical, survival, prepping stuff. They got several different flavors of this thing now. They got a Chow Line. They've got the regular monthly box, which comes in two different levels, a Fire Team and a Recon Tier, and they have their Knife of the Month Club. This month we're going to check out their Chow Line and the Recon Tier. If you want to get the subscription for yourself, you can follow the link on the screen or down in the description and save yourself a little bit of money. If you're wondering why the box is already open here, I recorded some of this and my microphone wasn't on, so here we go again. Open this up. So we've got this month's box, BB0925 here. This is their new field manual they ship with each box here. We can get an overview of what's in this thing. And this month we are checking out the Chow Line and the Recon Tier box here. So I'm gonna pull all this stuff out and then we're gonna go through it. Here we go. All right, so first up, something we have not checked out yet on the channel before is the Chow Line subscription. So this is a regular monthly thing where they'll send you a few MRE style or freeze-dried style meals. Not like the junk stuff that tastes awful, but the actually good stuff that you'd want to eat in a survival situation. So the one we're checking out this month, these are from ReadyWise. These are their pro adventure meals. And if you've ever gone backpacking or hiking, or maybe just hunting or somewhere where you actually want to eat good meals out. We went on a huge national park trip last spring break. And I have this thing about like, I always want hot food. I hate packing cold sandwiches and stuff, which I know is not like a survival thing, but it's a quality of life thing. And these style meals are an absolute lifesaver. So two things here. You have a breakfast option here, which is a breakfast skillet, and you have like a dinner or entree style option, which is really cool. So let's take a quick look at the overview here. The skillet has eggs, sausage, potatoes, all sorts of good stuff in that. And then the entree here is pasta a la vodka with chicken, filling and hearty. So the way these work, if you've never done one of these before, is you bring like some hot water, whether you boil it on a little stove top or use something like a jet boil, which is what I do. You open these things up, pour the water into the pouch, stir it a little bit and seal it up and normally let it sit for a while. This is a 12-minute cook time. A lot of the Mountain House stuff I've done in the past is typically like 7 or 8 minutes or so, but it is shocking how good these things taste and how much these actually like reconstitute into like real food. It doesn't feel like you've eaten something that's dehydrated. It actually tastes really good. So these breakfast skillets, a little upgrade with these is if you pack some tortillas or something that you don't have to like keep or refrigerate too much. It makes it absolutely awesome to make like a little breakfast burrito. And then let's check out our pasta a la vodka here. This looks super good. 750 calories per pouch, 30 grams of protein, lots to make you happy there. So if you're looking for a way to like kind of stay stocked up on this sort of stuff, not just for like survival or apocalypse things, but what if your power goes out? What if there's a natural disaster? Having like a storehouse of this sort of thing is super great. So love getting those things and checking those out every month. Moving along to the regular monthly box, the way they've sorted these out so far is sometimes there'll be slightly different gear in these boxes. Sometimes you get a different mix of stuff. Looks like this time we get both the Fire Team items and the Recon Team items. Let's take a look here. First up in the Fire Team box, we get some Rapid Rope Neon Green. I did not get neon green, I got, I guess, neon orange here. So let's pop open the seal. This stuff is pretty cool. I've got some of this sitting on my workbench out in the garage right now, and it's super handy. Got the packaging off here, and it's exactly what it sounds like. 90 feet of hardcore utility rope. I forget the test strength on this. I think it's something crazy high. Don't take my word for it. I want to say it's something like 1,100 pounds, so a little bit more than 550 cord, if I have that right. And you got an overview of how to make some knots and stuff on the side. But the way this works, you just kind of pull it out here. It's got a built-in line cutter built into the lid. Just kind of stretch it out, go over here to the side, chop your rope off, and you're good to go. And you always have a really easy way of getting just the right amount of rope. These are pretty awesome also to keep in a glove box in the car. That's where this one may land for me, and it's made in the USA. Really great gear there. So something you'll actually use, which I love. And I'm gonna jump ahead because going along with this, we've got the pocket guide to prepper knots, a practical resource to knots that can help you survive. And it's in this nice like throw around kind of book format here. So we've got, looks like a pretty extensive guide to all sorts of different knots and their usage, actually in color, which is surprising. I've seen some of these before that are just illustrated. It's kind of nice seeing photos and stuff in there. So not only do you have a good amount of rope to mess with and use for all sorts of utilities, but you've got a pretty awesome guide to learning some knots and stuff. This is one of those skills, it's been a few years since I've updated myself on like the right types of knots and stuff to tie. In reality, you probably only need to memorize 3 or 4 to get most circumstances kind of figured out rather than just like the simple stuff you tie in your shoes and stuff. So yeah, I love that. Very cool. And then last but not least, if you got the fire team, you're getting the Fiberlight Fire Starter Kit. It looks like we got a Ranger band. I don't know if this is just tinder or if they give us like a ferro rod or something here. So we got fiber, light, all natural fire starter, an emergency whistle, and a mini ferro rod and striker. That's cool. All right, yeah, so you got like this little all-in-one thing here. Let's take this out. This tiny little ferro rod. Where's the striker? I guess maybe it's on the end here. Yeah, you got a little blunt edge striker, or if you've got the right kind of steel on your knife, you can take the spine of your knife and strike it as well. A little ferro rod here, although these things will last you quite a while, so don't be thrown off by the small size. And I like that you can keep it in the kit here. Let's see, our whistle here on the end. Actually, a pretty loud little whistle, I like that. All right, so that's a cool little striker, and then it comes with all this kind of fiber tinder, which feels like a little bit oily and greasy, and I do like it's just fine enough where it's really gonna take a spark when you throw at it with these things. So a great little kit. Again, this is like bug out bag worthy, center console or glove box worthy in my mind. Lots of useful items there. Let's move on up to the Recon tier. If you upgrade from that $69 a month to I think it's $119 a month right now, you get two really hardcore items here. We get a headlamp and we get this Tactica knife here. This looks cool. So this is the K220. I feel like I've seen this knife before. If I remember right, this has a very cool locking mechanism, and this almost seems like maybe a slightly different version of it. So yeah, you've got this twist lock sheath. It's a waterproof design. You got serrated and straight edges, and you can carry it on your pack and mount it up in a cool way. You can get a rundown of all of these features here in the back. Let's slide it out and take a look through it. If you've ever received a Tactica product, by the way, they're really hardcore with their packaging, which I've always appreciated. So you get a little bit of instructions and stuff included. Let's pull this out. Nice textured handle, skeletonized in the middle, jumping all the way around. Looks like it is full tang and everything. You notice the locking mechanism on this. If I push with my thumb, it won't come, but if I twist just a little bit and then pull, it'll come right out. It's got kind of a blunt edge on it and everything, which is one of the weaker parts of your blade. So you got kind of this chisel tip, you got the standard grind on the side, you've got some serrations down here, and you've got some kind of rope cutting areas down here. Almost looks like an arrowhead, but a really nice sheath, lots of ways to attach this thing, lots of lashing points and everything on it, but a good all-arounder for some tactical and outdoor style usage. So very cool knife there. And then from Morph, we've got this headlamp here that appears to be 700 lumens, which is really high for a headlamp. Wow, is it USB? It looks like it may be USB-C rechargeable as well. You can see the UI for this thing back here, all the run times and everything else. And kind of an interesting design here with like a detachable little flashlight thing that you can apparently add to the front of this. So let me try to free it from this awful plastic prison here. Let me see if I can get it out. All right, so it came with some literature and everything. We've got our USB-C recharging cable as well. And we've got this multi-point strap here. So let's see, I'm guessing the battery. So yeah, we can pop this right open, and it looks like it actually has a battery pack in here. For some reason, I was expecting that to have some double A's or something. But there's your charge point. It looks like that keeps that nice and cleanly tucked away and sits at the back of your head. And then in the front, we've got this kind of dual setup here. So I noticed it had like a try me thing on the package. Wow. So already you got some really bright light just from these side, I guess kind of peripheral vision lights. And then we have this detachable separate kind of spotlight here, also very bright, has a pretty huge reflector built into this, so probably has a fairly long throw. You can see it's actually pretty diffused, kind of floodlighty. And then we can put it all together here, kind of magnetizes and goes on, and see the little morph thing lights up red there. An interesting setup. I'm not sure that I've seen a headlamp with this style setup, so I do like the utility of this. Let's see if we can turn it on all together. Interesting, so once you plug it in here, it seems like it switches over to kind of use this primarily as the main headlamp there, and then when you detach it, these little side lamps come on. That's an interesting setup. Not really how I would have expected this to work. So if you got a tent, you can also probably use this as a lantern, just stick this on the ground, or hang it from like a little gear loft or something like that, but lots of versatility. And one headlamp there that seems to be really heavy duty. 700 lumens is a ton for a headlamp. So if you're walking through the woods with this thing, you are shining light all over the place. Interesting. Okay, so that is BB0925, September 25, the Chow Line loadout for barrel and blade, and also the Recon box. Again, if you want to get a subscription for yourself, you can follow the link on the screen or down in the description and save yourself a little bit of money. They also have a super awesome Knife of the Month Club, well worth checking out. It's like this month you would have got the Kershaw Bel Air, very cool. If you're into this sort of gear at all, barrel and blade, it is super cool to get. I think you'll have a ton of fun stocking up on stuff with it. All right guys, that's it for this month's unboxing. As always, if you dug the video, be sure to hit the like button because it helps the channel out a ton, and subscribe if you want to see more gear and awesome stuff like this. See you guys next time.